welcome everyone back to the next episode of Conversa. Today we have Medirose joining us from Ecuador. He is a wildlife photographer. He also has a tour company, and he's of course conducting workshops and teaching photography. So I will go back to Daniel. Daniel, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, please.
Okay, hello. Nice to meet you. I'm Daniel Mideros or Diche. Normally people call me Diche, like my nickname. I'm from Ecuador, very proud to be Ecuadorian. I am a wildlife photographer since 2015 probably. Well, I was blessed to born in Ecuador, that is a tropical country with the Andean range. So we have a lot of wildlife, including beautiful landscapes, mountains, nice scenery, fauna, flora. So actually, I was lucky to born here, and since I was a kid, I loved the outdoors. Especially, I did outdoor sports. Well, I still doing, but I love go to the mountains, take photos. In those times, we had the very basic camera, so I had one, but normally was for just a hobby. Then I actually it's crazy, but when I was 19, I realized that Ecuador is a biodiversity country. I thought that, I didn't think that we had toucans here. So then I started to travel in my own country and learn and discover about the wildlife. So then I was completely in love of that, animals, the shapes of the birds, macro, frogs, colors. But most of that, I loved the process to get a photo, like have a passion for doing that, learn about the light, the photo, especially the animal, especially all the process that is necessary to have and learn to take just one shot. So I really like the fact to the difficult to get something. So then I started that and learning. Each weekend I went to the field to take photos, looking. So I spent a lot of time for that. But actually, it was like a hobby, like my passion. Then I knew this kind of business that is about photo tours. Then I started to learn about that and learn about how doing this, because when I was 2021, I thought in my mind, I need to live from this. So I am going to invest my time and my money, my everything to learn and be good. Actually, I didn't speak English since I was 22, so I learned very, very late.
You're
But
doing
my
an amazing
goal
job.
was I try and I improve all the time. I wanted no like I am not an expert in the language, but I am trying. I think it's working right now. But yeah, was my dream was when I was young, thinking about. I thought about. I want to be a wildlife photographer. I want to travel around the world. I hear the stories of the people that came here. They start to talking me or telling me about Africa, about migration, birds. The quetzal, for example, told me about tail, and I was in my mind I was thinking about, oh, one day that will be my dream, and then I work a lot and learn a lot. But most of that is the process to enjoy it. I enjoy the photo more than have the photo, more than get the photo. I enjoy the process. So since there, it's like my mind is just photography, travel, enjoy the nature as we can the nature, because in these times is the world is have been destroying. So I think that we need to enjoy and go outside and see what we have, where we are. So since there, I just go with my camera all the time. It's like my extra hand. So all the time I am with that. I was blessed to be able to organize trips for groups. The groups are really nice. I love to meet people, meet cultures, meet countries. So learn about everything. So I really, really enjoy my life, the idea to share my experience, to share the new ages, the young people that they want to live with this. And right now is good because since the technology is growing up, it's possible to get very good equipment and not expensive as all times. Because my first equipment, I sold my car to be able to buy a good camera with a good lens.
Wow.
Yeah, so right now it's like I was like all in. But right now, it's possible to get very good equipment in a very good price. You have different brands, different options. And also with internet, I think that we have the opportunity to learn everything. Just is the attitude to go for it, it's like just do it.
Yeah,
So I am
absolutely.
happy to enjoy my experience here.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's amazing. So I think Ditsi, you've talked about wildlife, you've talked about Ecuador, and I know that that's your passion. Why don't you take us through some of your photos? Introduce while you're introducing yourself to the audience. It will also be good for the audience to look at the photos that you have been taking. So go ahead and share your screen if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm doing right now. So I want to start to showing this photo. This photo is me in
Beautiful.
Torres del Paine National Park taking photos for pumas. So this is the puma and this is me. So for this photo is really important for me because when I was a kid, I really loved to watch National Geographic or Discovery Channel or Animal Planet. And I saw, Torres del Paine because I am more mountain person than, the beach or the coast. So I really love the mountains. I also do paragliding and climb the mountains. So it's like for me, the mountains are my home, my happy place, my
Hmm.
environment. And also when I was a kid, I saw Torres del Paine in was winter. So I really love the snow because we don't have snow. So my dream was go to Chile. When I started this, I say it myself about you are not going to stop until you go to Chile and take the photo of the pumas.
Okay.
So that was my goal, go there and shoot the pumas. And this is the photo that I was there. So it's a very important photo for me because this tell me to me that we did it, like we are
Hmm.
here, we are in Patagonia. So the goal is complete,
Definitely.
in the time. Of course I have new dreams right now, but this
Yeah.
is important for me because it's like when I see that, like, remember me time ago, what was my goal, my idea to this.
Beautiful.
So it's a very important photo for me. Also, I have this other photo. Is in the same place. It's like me
That's
on
amazing.
the mountain. Yeah, this is me, like the 600, and this is Torres del Paine National Park, the Chile, the Horns of Paine, and it's a very beautiful sunset. So I was there, and somebody took me the photo, but it's very nice because it's like you between the earth, between planet, that you are completely like you are nothing if you think that you are something with the planet, with the mother nature. So I love this photo because it's me in my favorite place and my favorite environment.
Wow,
Also,
that's
uh-huh.
great.
Yeah, it's like I love, more also than the photo is I allow the process to enjoy it.
Hmm.
And this is probably my most famous photo, most important. This is
That's
the photo
beautiful.
that was awarded in Wildlife Photography for Year in 2022. This is a spectacle bear. It is a mammal in the Andean range. It's the biggest mammal in the Andean range. So this bear is very elusive animal. It's very shy, very nervous, very difficult to see. In this case, I put a camera trap. That is a technique that you put a camera with a sensor. So when something is in front, just shoot the camera. But the challenge of this was adapt the camera in the place because spectacle birds are very sensitive animals. So if something is different in the environment, they just don't go to the same place because they repeat the trail. But if they smell human or something is rare, is strange, they just leave the path and go to another one.
Mm.
The process of this photo was 5 months. I put the camera,
Wow.
adapt the camera for the environment. The spectacle bird just walking around. Then I put the camera, just the camera, then the flashes. So each month I put one more equipment. So after 6 months it's 5 months that the animal was adapt, I just start to shoot in the photo because the animal could be the normal behavior. So this is the spectacle bear in the normal behavior, and the idea of this photo is share that this is Quito, capital city behind. It's
Mm,
completely the capital city. This is Pichincha volcano, and all of this that used to be Andean Range a national park is wood industry here. Could you see the
mm,
smoke here?
mm,
This is for cows, for farms. This is a road for farms as well. So everything is under deforestation. This is a big road. And this is the limit of the national park.
mm,
So I like this photo because can transmit an idea that what we are doing in
mm.
the
Yeah.
humans are destroying the natural. environments. So this photo was nice and is important for me because first I won the Wild Photographer of the Year, that is the most important contest for photographers,
mm,
and also because the photo was a really difficult. Because actually, this is the photo number 6 that I tried because something happened. The flash was not working. The
mm,
bird just half a bird was
mm,
rainy, was cloudy. So after many tries, this is the photo. So it's very nice because it's a when you got something that was a difficult that is
mm.
difficult is very nice. The feeling that you can do it, you can say to yourself, we do it finally, that's it. It's like we
That's
did.
beautiful.
Also, I have this photo that is my first award photo that is
That's
in
awesome.
2016. Is a macro shot. I started in macro shot, actually macro
Okay.
photography. Then I changed to birds, and right now mammals and everything. I want to improve in landscapes as well, but this is my first photo in one photo contest in Spain. So these are two rhino beetles fighting each other, and one mosquito was here. I just take the photo. I was with a flash over my camera, and this is just one photo because
Mm,
then they start to move, and then
mm,
they move a lot. So
mm.
this is just one shot, one opportunity. So it's actually very important photo for me because was my first one, and very good photographers and famous photographers were the the people that decide that the photo is nominated and won the
Yeah.
category. Also, I have this one that is a harp eagle in a nest. A harp eagle is the strongest eagle in the world. So in this
Wow.
case, it's important. Why? Because normally you don't see male and female in the same nest.
Mm,
Normally the male just come, release the food and gone. But when I was there, I just put my camera and then just the male arrive. I take shots. I didn't set the camera, just shooting, and everything was good. That was a
nice.
very lucky situation, and I got the male and the female and the chick are hit him to go outside from the nest. So you could see the female in a like a war position, defense position, and then the male just go there, release the food, and gone. But just this was 4 seconds, and that's it. But it's a very unusual behavior.
Brilliant.
And also, I have this that was in Sri Lanka. We were
That's
looking for
amazing.
leopards all the day, and was rainy, rainy, rain, and then stop. Then the leopard, just a little light of sun go outside,
Mm,
and then the leopard start to coming to us, walking, and butterflies were there, drinking the
mm,
the clay of the and the minerals from the ground, and
mm.
then the leopard just walking, and all of them are start to flying. So it's a very nice shot for me because I like them, the
Beautiful.
the interaction between both species. And the leopard, cats in general are really beautiful animals.
That's beautiful.
I don't know if you want to see more or you
Yeah.
have another.
Yes. I think you were showing me some photos of the birds, specifically from Ecuador or Costa Rica. Yeah, these ones. Yep.
Yeah, so this is wire-crested thorntail. That is a hummingbird from the east in Ecuador. It's beautiful because the crest is very like this. Is very very long, and also the behavior of this hummingbird is that stay just a couple of seconds over the branch
Mm,
and open the feathers in the crest and show the green color.
mm,
So that happened in seconds. So I was waiting there, waiting until he did that, and then I got the photo. Normally, I like the behavior in animals, so it is important to have you must to be very very patient because that happened in seconds. Seconds, and you wait for just 1 second. The same is here, for example, Ecuadorian histories or endemic hummingbird.
wow.
This hummingbird could live, over 4,000 meters above sea level. So normally they do the scratch, that is this, open the tails, open the feathers to scratch. And that situation happened just the same seconds, but it's nice because open all the feathers of the face, as you can see here.
Mm, mm,
And but you must to wait time because it's over the resting over the branch, over the perch, and
Mm.
then after a time, open all the feathers. And this is the photo that normally you want to get it. And I have here Andean condors. Andean condor is our national bird. Is endangered in Ecuador, so we don't have too many of them. But in this case, two males were flying.
That's beautiful.
Two males were flying, and is one behind other. So it was really nice moment because it was cloudy, not too many light, so it was perfect for the especially for the light. So I really like this photo.
These are all brilliant. Thanks for sharing with us. I think I would want to go back to that other one that was the photo that won the award.
Mhm.
Just if we go back to that, yeah, this one. And you talked about how you set up the trap. I think the first question around composition, right?
Mhm.
Why did you want to compose it here, and how did you conceive the shot, thinking about this composition to start with?
Because actually this photo born, I work with a group of or I work with an organization, this Fundación Condor, and then they work protecting especially Andean condor and animals around the Andean range. So this spectacle bear is an animal from Andean range, but the story is that they were here actually down this cliff is a condor nest. So
Okay.
they were research, they were looking and protect the nest, and one time they saw a spectacle bird walking over this cliff, and it was this one. So I was working in the camera trap in that time, and we talk about let's do this, like let's show the people that that the city is here,
Mm,
that Quito is next to the border of national park. So then we started that. So the idea of this frame is showing the animal between the conflict with the human. So for that idea born this idea of the photo, and the composition is I was trying to show the volcano of Quito that is emblematic, Quito City, the valley, and the destroying, all the process of destroying farms, house, wood industry, city, places.
mm,
So I want to show all the problematical situations in one frame. So then I put the camera behind, and I put in a high position to be able to show all of this.
mm.
That was the main idea of the composition, and put, of course, the bear in the middle, like a
Th-
principal subject.
This is amazing. You know, another question is when you compose a shot like this, and I was asking another friend of mine who appeared on the podcast about manipulation, replacement, sky replacement, particularly, and bracketing and all of that.
Yeah.
If this is one shot, what's your take on that? Do you use those kinds of techniques, or you just go for one shot and try to cover
I
everything?
depend the situation, especially for contests. The problem right now is you have AI, so everything, all that you see is like everything is under doubt. Like everything
Mm,
could be modified, so it's
mm,
difficult to actually see something and believe that is real or not. Happened me a lot. But for contests, they you need to send the raw. So they check all the edition process. But in this case, it's just one shot with a is an 7D, so it's an old camera. But because it's camera trap could damage for the weather and conditions, or somebody steal you.
mm,
But this is one shot. And about the techniques, normally I don't use AI, never, and
mm,
I try to take the photo in the beginning. I try to be clean and good, and then just edit the light and the contrast, sometimes
mm, mm,
all the Lightroom process. But in case of modify, or do something that is not there, or
mm,
clone, or
mm, mm,
I do nothing like that, because I really want to show the reality of that. It's the difference when I say, if you are no influencer, but when you are a photographer, or you are a media creator,
mm,
something like that. Because I am a photographer, so I like that show the real situation. So I don't do for likes, or for be an influencer. It's like, because I like to share the real experience and the real situation.
You also mentioned this is the one that won the Wildlife Photographer Award. How do you select these events and competitions where you want to, you know, compete? And is there any criteria that you want us to, sort of adhere to when we are selecting competitions?
Well, first I think about a project. I really like to put challenge to myself. So, for example, one project is camera trap with pumas, camera trap with the spectacle bird, camera trap with tapir.
Mm,
So first I put them. I normally don't think about the competition. It's like I think about the photo and the challenge of get a different photo. So first I do like in my mind a project that I really want to do. For example, nesting of a harp eagle
mm,
or flying shot of a ornate hawk eagles, things like that. And then when if I have a good material, I select the competitions. Normally, I try to go to the biggest one, like wildlife, Monfoto, big nature, nature best,
mm,
Memorial Maria Luisa.
mm,
The of course will be amazing WordPress photo, but I really try to go to the biggest one, because in my mind is go for everything, So
mhm,
but first, everything is born from a project, for a project that is trying to do something different, something difficult. Because camera trap is a very patient thing and difficult thing. Or even if it's not camera trap, try to get a different shot. Like if you go to Pantanal jaguar hunting or
mhm,
Patagonia, the landscape of the Torres del Paine, or here, a puma in or some place in Andean range that is
mm,
difficult with a good, with a good place, with a good light.
mm.
So first, everything born about the idea of do something different, and then animal, and then the challenge to get it.
Excellent. And the equipment you talked about, the camera trap, you talked about the older cameras. I think there's a lot of debate in terms of the gear these days, right? The newer, the better. Do you still, debate around being the one that has the most recent gear, or you think that it's more about the photographer and less about the gear?
I think that both, but most of the thing is the creativity of photographer.
Mm,
The problem is right now we are focusing in social media, so we are thinking about everything close, everything, a portrait, everything that must to be likes. So in that case, it's just the camera. You buy a good camera with a good quality and just do the photo. But I think that if you really want to do a good photographer, it's not necessarily have the best camera. This camera was Canon 7D, so it's
mm,
$300, and I got that photo. And I met people that I have met people that are really talented and are really creative, and they have just a basic camera. But of course, in some situation, the camera is 90% of the photo. For example, if you're taking flying shot of a bird, the camera must to be eye tracking and very fast to be able to get a good shot of that.
mm,
So it's both, but depends what are you going to do. It's like you don't need to buy the top of the gamma
mm,
if you are going to do macro shot, for example, that the animal is there, you have time, the patient. But if you want to do action photography, probably you need a very good camera that is with eye tracking and very fast buffer. So, but if you put in terms of what is more important, I think of course always the creativity, because if you see some photos of different places, these are the same photos, the same animal, the same situation, walking, very good photo, that's it. But sometimes you'll see different photos that you think about, wow, this
mm,
is new, this is
mm,
beautiful, this is
mm,
different. That for me is more important that than just have the photo. Because of course it's beautiful have a, like for example, if you go to Africa, lion, there is good. But sometimes you just sometimes see something different that then you think, that is a good photographer. It's
mm.
not just a photo.
Yeah. And I think the other question that I had was, here you explained about, this is the end of the national park, and then you have the city and the volcano at the back, so people can get an idea of where it is. But your shot about Patagonia, the one with the mountains at the back. I think the question I had about that one was how to get this shot. Where do you have to get to? What is the vantage point here? Can you guide the people about this? I would want to recreate this kind of a shot where do I go to?
Okay, so for that photo, first it's important that you have a telephoto, a zoom. So with a zoom, you have a photo. Why? Because when you have a zoom and you put zoom out, zoom in, all the background is going to be in front and bigger. So in this case, the person that took me the photo is behind, far away, and put 600 in a zoom of 200, 600 Sony. Put all the zoom, and of course the background is going to come close. And when and the light was, was in golden hour, and the light was here over the horns. So for default, I will be black here, completely in the shadow. So this photo is different situations. First, the time that is sunset. Second is a zoom lens far away to be able to zoom in the background, and then me in the border, because here's the border of the road. Then it's dark here because the light was not over here, was over the landscape. So for get this photo, it's like you need to combine those different situations. And then, but it's important that you assume lens for this, do this kind of landscape that you can show bigger the landscape and close to you in this case.
But you said you are on the road here, so is it like, if I follow a certain road, I can get to the same point? Is
Like
it
if
like
you
a hike, or you can drive to this point?
actually, this is the point, yeah. It's like the highest point in the road, and then the car here go down. So it's like a little hill.
Okay.
That is the reason that it's possible to see just the cut here. Because if you move a little bit close or far, then you're going to see the road. So this is the point that is the highest, the hill in the road. So for that reason, is very clear the cut here.
Yeah, so for the viewers, we will drop the location or the pin of this in the description of the video, and then you guys can go and create something similar. And when you're out there, try also creating some other fantastic shots. Thank you, Ditya. This is brilliant. Now, I wanted to go back to one of the shots that you showed us earlier, the birds, the Ecuadorian hummingbirds. And yeah, this one. I think the question I have on this one is, you mentioned about the importance of the moment here, but this I assume is also done with a zoom lens. You must be very far off from the animal or the bird here. I think for these kind of things, what kind of gear do you use?
So for birds, since 400 to 800 if you can't. The thing is, first because they are very shy, so you need to be far away, so they are not going to fly.
Mm.
And second, because if you have a zoom lens, the background is going to be disfocused, so it's going to be blurry. In this case, I am using my 400 2.8 because it's a zoom lens, as also the background of the lens give you a very disfocused background.
Mhm.
So for this kind of shots, it's important that if you are going to do wildlife, at least lens from 200 to 600 to 800. So more zoom is better. Why? Because the animal is going to be far away, so the animal is not going to be under pressure that you are close to it. So if you really want to do, is important buy a very good zoom lens and in a very good quality of glass, because if you have more zoom, you are going to have probably less quality. Depends the brand, depends the quality of the lens, the glass. But my recommendation is since 200 to 600.
Excellent. Also, the other point is, you mentioned about the importance of being patient and waiting for the moment. In
So
these kind of setups, what do? You set up the camera and then you go around, or you just wait until the time you don't get your shot? And how do you know you got your shot and move on?
sometimes you got, sometimes you not. It's like,
Mm,
for example, if you are in a nest, sometimes the animal, the bird, be there 8 hours, 6 hours, 4 hours, and sometimes don't fly. Sometimes just fly one time and never come again. So this is a time. The play of this is time. So you can spend hours and sometimes nothing is going to happen. In
mm,
this case, because the animal, was rainy, so the hummingbird was there. Open the feathers to clean the
mm,
drops.
mm.
For that reason, it's possible to see some drops here.
Yeah.
So I sometimes I just first go there and see what is happening. Just looking, just scanning the situation.
Hmm.
And then in this case, I put my tripod and waiting there, waiting there, waiting there. Anytime that the animal was moving, I start to shooting, to shooting, to shooting, and after that, I got one shot. But sometimes, you could be there hours, days, and nothing is going to happen. At the end, it's wildlife, it's nature. The important is that go with the idea that I go with the idea that nothing is going to happen. No, expect like know the worst thing, but don't go with any expectation. It's like go with I try to go in the best place, the best situation, the best climb, everything. But something is not going to happen, and you need to understand that you cannot be frustrated for that. Is because
Hmm.
it is what it is. Could happen or could not. But it's a lot of patience. The important thing, if you want to get a something different, is about wait and patience a lot.
Brilliant. Diti, one more question on, and let's shift to from shooting or executing to editing. So tell us a little bit about what do you do when you get to editing? What softwares do you use? What techniques do you use?
I can do a addition right now.
Yes, why not? Let's go ahead.
So first, I select the photo.
Hmm.
In this case, well, I already did, but I do for the noise. I do Raw. That is a software that clean you the noise because
Okay.
sometimes you use very high ISOs or very
Hmm.
it's not. So in this case, I use this Raw. I just drop the photo here. Well, in this case, it's not working because it's already did.
Okay.
And then you just put process and give you another raw that is DNG, and is, as you can see, is very clear. It's not nothing about noisy.
Beautiful.
And then I put this. I open with Lightroom. Let me.
Hmm.
I put my screen all the light because sometimes you put too much. It's important that look the screen all light. Then I go to develop. First, I scanning what are you going to do. Is like, okay, so this is the main animal. So I am going to do a crop. So first I put the angle because sometimes you take the camera is not completely the angle. So in this case, for example, here I put here and give you like, or sometimes I take the eyes
Mm.
between one and another one and give me the correct
Mm.
position. I do the crop with roved thirds. Normally I put the animal in this case in the middle because I need to space from where it's coming to where it's going,
Hmm.
and then give a little space like this.
Okay.
Then I enter. Then I see I am going to evaluate. Okay, so the background is okay. I need more light. So I put all the shadows. First I work with the shadows. So probably just there. And the highlights, but it's afternoon, so it's not going to be bright. So I just a little bit like this. Then I do mask
Hmm.
for the subject here.
Hmm.
So the Lightroom is going to select the object, just the object.
Yeah.
Then I edit just the leopard. So in this case, I put more light, a little contrast, little white. I work with a histogram here,
Hmm.
and a little bit of blacks, and then again doing a little light.
Hmm.
So it's going to show the animal. Then I do the temperature. So in this case, a little bit orange. So I put there, and it's not going to be too green. So like this and like this. So I have the color of the animal and put saturation, just the animal. Then I do the same, but here, duplicate and invest the mask for the background.
Mm.
So in this case, the background, I put a little bit, not too much. And the same, I try to put a little bit dark so the animal could have more power
Hmm.
in this case. And I don't put saturation. Also here in texture, I put less texture, so a little bit is going to be a little bit blurry, not too much clarity as well. So as you can see, is less. So the animal has more power here. Look.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Then I put a little bit of saturation in everything, here and here. And sometimes for the eye, I put another mask here, brush, to have more light
Hmm.
for the eyes. Not too much because I don't want to show over edition. A little bit with contrast and with blacks because it's black. So I give texture there. So then I have the eyes more showy,
Hmm.
probably a little bit less the mask. And then sometimes you do with the mask with line gradient because the light coming from this side. So I put a little bit light and a little bit more warm.
Hmm.
And the other side, I do less, like this. So the animal has more power. Then here I put in the same of the animal. Here you put a little bit texture, so give more texture to the animal and clarity. So normally I do that process that is fast and is good and I
Mm.
have quality. And then if you want to have a a contrast, you go here to these curves and put little bit less in the middle, put high, and the highlights go down, and you have this effect that you can separate the animal from the background. And if you want to put, and also you could go here, put a little bit sharp more, and you put option here contrast in the keyword and put here, and just is going to sharp just here in the animal. And of course, if you want to put more light in general, you can do more. And you have after and before. So it's a very basic uh, edition, but I like to do that because I don't need more. It's just I want to show. And if you then when I save, I put export in TIFF, TIFF with 16 bits. So when I export, I will have the best quality shot. Where is this? See where I desktop. So I have the shot.
Beautiful.
But since the first shot is good because I was trying to do the good settings in my camera to get a good shot,
Mm.
so I don't need to edit too much. So this is after and before.
Yeah, brilliant. This is
So
definitely amazing.
I don't do too much edition like clonate or things
Yeah.
like that because sometimes you see in social media photos that are over edition and is
Yeah.
not very real. So I try to show
That
the
one was amazing.
this is a blue viper in Komodo Island, the only blue viper in the world in Komodo, endemic.
Wow. And okay, so maybe we talk about this one as well. You said this is the only place where you can see blue vipers. So how do we get there? What is that location?
In Komodo Island in
Mm.
Indonesia, when the Komodo dragons are there.
Hmm.
So this is a viper that is just possible to see in that island. So it's endemic. Probably both, because it's crazy because when you see there is everything green and you just see a blue thing there. So it's a
Mm.
viper. Probably that survive because they don't have any predators there. That was a dream, because it's a beautiful viper. It's completely like blue, so it's crazy.
It is.
So that was this is 5 years ago, probably when I was in Komodo. So it's very special because it's a very top viper and very beautiful one.
That's beautiful. Amazing. When you started taking us through your shots, there was another one which you wanted to talk about initially. The one with the one.
Uh-huh.
This is not taken by you, but I understand that this is showing one of the obsession that you had or one of your life dreams that you
Yeah,
had. I think the
exactly.
question I would want to ask here is, if we have to go to Patagonia, which location is that? How do we get there? Where do we position ourselves to get a shot like this?
So I do tours in Patagonia. In Patagonia, the most important thing is know about go go with a good tracker because you need to go to a tracker
Mm,
and is the behavior of the puma is and also they walk how is the behavior of them different facts, but the important thing is don't when the puma is close you cannot move fast, you cannot be scared because it's a wild animal, it's a wild cat, because attack you and game over.
mm,
But you need to be calm. They walk, they are calm, they are used to for humans, and it's good that you hear the guide. In this case I go as a guide or a tour leader, and the most important is the tracker. So the tracker is tell you, oh, this individual is friendly. You need to be, close. You need to be far away. Stay there. Don't move. So you need to follow different rules.
mm.
But if you are calm and you follow the rules, very good shots could happen. Like this, for example, this is a
Mm.
shot of them was sitting in front of us.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's like sometimes when I go there, it's like, okay, we took a shots of this one, looking for another one. Be patient, of course. You can tracking pumas all the day, and just have 1 hour of a good shots. So it's about good energy. Everything is good energy. If you are with a good energy, everything is going to happen. If you are, stressed about the photo, everybody's going to be stressed, and everything probably could be wrong.
Absolutely. This is brilliant. All of these are brilliant photos. I'm super impressed with the photos that you have. I think this was a very good session. Thank you, Dan. Ditsi. We will try to wrap this up here. I really appreciate you taking the time out, taking us through your photos and also showing us how you edit them. So really appreciate all the.
No, actually, and thanks to you. Thanks for invitation, for your time as well. This opportunity that show the work for different photographers, also from South America, from different countries. I think is the best way to use the technology, because right now, you see very very bad things in social media, especially the information could be, is a double line, is a very tiny line about information. How is the quality of that information? So it's very good that you have this space to invite and share the experience with different photographers, and especially to try to motivate to the new generations that explore the world. Is not here,
Yeah,
is here.
absolutely,
It's like
absolutely.
enjoy, because probably this time is crazy everywhere. So
Yeah,
probably tomorrow we don't know. Probably tomorrow something happened and we cannot enjoy the nature. The
true.
mountains start to melt in the world in general. So it's nice that motivate the people to explore, to do new things with the technology. The cameras is possible to get very cheap and good ones.
That's great words, Desi. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you taking the time and love the conversation. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and anything you need, you can contact me. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
Bye bye.
Bye.